everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Chantal. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I achieve this look right here. This is my go-to makeup look. So if you guys want to know how I achieve this look right here, then just keep watching. So to start off today's makeup look, the first thing I do is moisturize my lips. And I'm using this Blistex lip balm. Now moving on to moisturizer, I use the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream. Moving on to foundation, I use a mix of two. I mix in the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and then with the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. So I just mix the two foundations onto the back of this cap, and I use just a small flat brush to mix that up, and then I also use the same brush to apply the foundation onto my face. To blend out the foundation, I use this makeup sponge from Amazon. So I'm just going to finish applying the foundation all over my face, and I'll be right back. So after the foundation is all done, I go in and I cream contour. For contour, I use the Maybelline Fit Me foundation stick. And then to apply that, I use the Real Techniques contour brush. So instead of using the foundation stick and applying it directly onto my face, I like to grab the brush and just slightly tap it to pick up some of that product. And then I'll go in and place that where I want to. And I slowly go in and build up the color that I want. So I bring that up along the side of my hairline up to my forehead, a little bit on the sides of my nose, and as well as my jawline. And then to further blend that out, I go in with my sponge. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. After cream contour, I apply a little bit of concealer, and I'm using the Instant Age Rewind Eraser. I only apply the concealer a little bit on my inner corners and also a little bit towards my temple just to kind of elongate my eyes. I also apply a little bit of that on the bridge of my nose, in between my brows, and just around my nose. And then going in again with my sponge and blending all of that out. To set that concealer in place, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. And to apply that, I just use, again, my sponge, just picking up a little bit and going right over top of the concealer. So for the foundation mix that I use, I actually don't have to set it because they are like pretty matte and they set on their own. So I'm not going to set the rest of my face. So for bronzer, I use the Maybelline City Bronzer. And I also like to mix in a little bit of this right here. And this is from the Highlight and Contour Palette from NYX. For bronzer, I'm using, I believe this is the bronzer or contour brush. And for face brushes, I'm using the Morphe face brush set. So taking that bronzer and contour color, and I'm going to be placing that over top of the cream contour. Moving on to blush, I use a mix of two of the Milani blushes. One of them is a powder blush and the other one is a baked powder blush. And to apply those, I'm using the Morphe blush brush. And then to blend that all out, I go in just with a big fluffy brush that I have. This one's from Walmart. To clean up my bronzer and blush a little bit, I'm going in again with the loose finishing powder that I used earlier and my sponge, and just picking a little bit of that up and placing it underneath. Moving on to brows, I'm using the e.l.f. brow pencil. And sometimes I feel like adding a little bit more product to my brows and just deepening up the color towards the tails. So for that, I use the e.l.f. Lock and Liner Brow Cream. And to apply that, I use the e.l.f. Brow Brush. To clean up my brows, I'm going to be using the same small brush that I used to apply and mix my foundation. Whatever is left onto the brush, I'm going to be using that to go around and clean anything up. Next, to set my brows in place, I'm using the Morphe Clear Brow Gel. Moving on to eyes. For my everyday look, the palette that I go to the most is this face palette from Sephora. I think this is a limited edition palette that they had a couple years back. So I just use a mix of the pink and the two brow shades on the left of it. The eyeshadow brushes I just used two of the Urban Decay Trio set that they had a couple years back as well. So they are dual-ended brushes. I'm going to be using both of these sides. The bigger side to apply the colors onto my lid, and the smaller side to be applying that to my lower lash line. And I use this brush to apply the inner corner highlights. So taking that pink and the light brown shade from that face palette, and I buff that into my crease and towards my brow bone. When I do go in with that dark brown shade, I like to take just a card and hold it up towards my eye. So that way when I apply that brown color, it kind of creates a line because the card's there. And that just kind of creates like a little stencil for when I go in and do my wing. It's a little bit easier because I kind of have a guideline there already. And taking those same three colors and applying that to my lower lash line. So taking the lightest shade in that face palette, I'm going to be applying that to the inner corner of my eyes. I also take a little bit and apply that underneath my brow. And with the same brush, I go in and pick up the highlighter shimmer shade and place that right onto the inner corner. When I do a wing, I like to use black eyeshadow instead of eyeliner. That way it's not as harsh. To apply the black shadow, I take this flat angled brush and just pick some of that black shadow up, and then following the line that I created with the card earlier. And I only bring that about halfway onto my lid. And doing the same thing on the other eye. And the good thing about using eyeshadow instead of lip liner to do your wing, you can just easily go in with a Q-tip and just sharpen up and clean those lines up. Not picking up any extra product, just whatever is left. I also like to take in and just buff a little bit of that on my lower lash line. Moving on to highlighter, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder and the Morphe highlighter brush. I also like to take a little bit and apply that onto my lid. And then to blend all of that out, just going in again with the big fluffy brush. Before finishing off the eyes, I'm going to be going in and setting my face. I use the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I just use my little fan to speed up the process. While I just wait for that to set in a little bit more, I'm going to be moving on to lips. And I use the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner. Over top of that, I go in with the Morphe Matte Lipstick. And whenever I feel like applying a little bit of gloss, I go in with the Morphe Lip Gloss. So I just follow along my natural lip line and fill in a little bit the sides of my lips. And then for the lipstick, I just focus this mostly on the center of my lips. And then grabbing some of the lip gloss, and again just applying this to the center. Last thing I have to do is lashes. First, I'm going to curl my lashes. This is just a Revlon eyelash curler. And then for mascara, I go in with two. First, I use the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. And then I go in with the Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift. So a little trick that I do whenever I do get some of the mascara onto my eyelid, you can just take a Q-tip and just very lightly, if you go over top with the Q-tip sideways, just go over top of that and like kind of rub that in. It will just flake the mascara off. So that is the end of my go-to makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and seeing how I achieve my go-to makeup look. If you guys did enjoy watching, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. And I'll see you guys in my next video.